of our guest panelists, like I always say, they may be last, but they are absolutely not least. When I talk about a young lady who has the ability to wrangle for the rustiest niggas I've ever met in my life, and I mean
rustiest and dustiest. Go ahead.
Listen, and from a rusty, dusty nigga, that's saying something. There's nothing but a panel full of rusty, dusty niggas.
They're gonna be mad as shit as me when they hear it.
They're gonna be all right. Man, you ain't on Blerds and Whiskey right now. You all right? Listen.
They watching, trust me.
Listen, I see them lurking in the chat. Don't worry, we'll protect you until the show is over. Then you're on your own. But
okay, so
at two, Bruce.
Can I explain myself real quick before we get mad?
Please.
I
would love to hear this.
I did say that our love language is throwing shade. That's all we ever do to each other all day, and y'all selectively cut that part out. But that's okay. But look at y'all looking all dapper and shit today.
Well, I mean,
had to brush the rust off.
When you and the black version of Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse was attacking us, we felt that we needed to step it up a little bit this week. So,
I appreciate y'all.
All of us except for one of us. Hello.
Wake up, nigga.
Oh shit, we're live. Fuck,
bro. Oh my god.
Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and that technical arrangement between this boy Trey Proper.
Is it your boy? Is it Trey Proper?
I mean, it looked like Trey Sloppy to me.
Trey improper.
Yeah,
I'm a little hungover.
Moving on.
After last night, shooting with these two degenerates and the drinks that they made, it is painful. Like, I don't even want to have fucking lights on at this point. But,
so basically what you're saying is that when you got an actual good drink being made.
I did have a citrusy drink, and it was fucking amazing. It was great.
What can I say? These hands, they heavy pour.
But yeah. But did I hear somebody call us Dusty?
Mm-hmm.
And Rusty.
Somebody called us fucking Dusty. And I'm not.
Rusty.
Originally it was Rusty, and then they added no, we were Rusty, and then
fuck this
Rita
shit. I showed up to fucking play because what you're not gonna do is call us motherfucking Dusty. Okay. All right, we show up and we show the fuck out. I've been doing this for too long. I ain't thinking about taking the jacket off while I'm live.
That's the best part.
It's stuck on me. I can't take it off. Keep talking. Well, yeah, Dusty, motherfucker. We know how to show up and show out and look good. We used to be in the clubs. We used to be bouncing in the clubs.
We
used to be out there.
Take jackets off though.
We don't know how to take jackets off while we're in the seated position. Free. God damn it. All right.
We were almost
we in this thing, bro. We know what the hell we doing. We look pretty dapper, motherfucker. Yeah. Anyway. I didn't even take my shot. But yeah, thank you for having our back and showing up there on HNIC and, showing love. We was in the comments. We was observing. We saw what was going on.
Literally, I said, word is my comment.
Yeah. I just also want to point out the fact that I called y'all Rusty and Dusty while wearing pajamas. So there was that. So I'm just saying.
Hey, Pop, what up, Kettle? So yeah. That was a nice little bracket episode. I did enjoy the first 2.5 hours.
yeah, exactly. The first 2.5 hours on a Wednesday. But but like I said, but I got to get back to the subject. The point of my contention, and a so-called king something or other. I don't know if it's Kirk. I don't know if it's Kirk. But I feel a new rivalry brewing in the world of Rickstro. I feel like I have a new target, and
enter new challenger.
Exactly, and so we're gonna hash this out at HNIC Con. Me and Mr. I'm not gonna call him King anything. Me and Curtis are gonna have it out at HNIC Con. I don't even know if that's his real name, but I'm gonna call you Curtis. Your mama call you Kurt. I'm gonna call you Curtis because I'm about to be your daddy.
Oh, okay.
Hey. So is this some sort of grill off or barbecue off? Is that what we doing?
Shalom.
It's supposed to be a grill off, but he's from Philly and them niggas don't know how to cook. So again, we're gonna see who's who, and we're gonna see who the real king is. He's
gonna show up with a Philly cheesesteak talking about like, I grilled this.
No. I feel like Rick owes it to us, especially since he posted this picture in our group chat of them fucking beef short ribs that none of us even got a chance to taste, and you just gonna post it in the group like, oh, look what I made. No, fuck you.
I made this on like, nigga.
I mean,
like we supposed to be proud, but at the same time, I'm hungry.
Right. I had one corner of a rusty ass, dusty ass Pop-Tart, and you gonna post some goddamn short ribs.
Is that becoming your catchphrase now, rusty and dusty?
I do like to pride myself on bringing things back, like razzle dazzle. That's my other thing.
Dazzle. Okay.
A little razzle and a little dazzle. Yes.
All right. So
we ain't gonna bring that back. I can't support that.
I can.
Thank you guys in the comments for joining us here on Blerds and Whiskey Live. We got a great show lined up for you as always. But first things first, let's get to these drinks. I, of course, am still actually reeling from last night because these two degenerates, like I said, they do make a tasty beverage and it will sit you on your ass. But we had visited 1812. We had 1812 last night, and I decided to use that in my Wrong Island iced tea. I didn't put anything citrus in it, but it did come out good. So here's to you guys.
What did you do?
Oh, yeah, that's not the color.
That is definitely Wrong Island.
Yeah,
I did my best. Okay, did what I did with what I had. I got some tequila in there.
For those,
I've got some gin.
All right, go ahead. So we all pretty much going to be in uniform this day, because this past Thirsty Thursdays, which you should check out, we made Wrong Island or Strong Island iced tea. Tasty beverage will put you on your ass. They followed the instructions, and we're all drinking our variations of it. Rita, you did something different, right?
I kind of followed instructions, yeah, because I don't do the splash of Coke. I just did pineapple juice, because sweet and creamy. But y'all had to have been on the earlier show to understand it.
I feel like that adds like an extra island. That adds an extra island thing to it. I like it.
It does.
Island girl.
Wow.
Oh, and since we are crowbarring whiskeys, I still have my birthday present. Thank you, Mr. Troy Proper. I'm still working on it. That good Maryland whiskey, since we like to, put other shit in there. So there we go. It's not in my Long Island though, as you can see.
It's in mine.
Wasn't even one of the ingredients, but go ahead.
It wasn't?
No.
No.
There's no whiskey in the Long Island.
I thought it was whiskey in the Long Island.
No.
What?
No.
Did you? We have a show
that
gave you the instructions with the ingredients, and you still, that's why I said it's definitely a Wrong Island.
I bet he probably
that works. I put actual iced tea in it. Yes, I did.
All right.
My favorite guys got something to say. Did you also partake?
Yeah. But my favorite part of the guys Thirsty Thursdays, Rick was like, I asked the bartender, what's in a Long Island? And he never said iced tea. There's no tea in this thing. And that should have me dying.
Since we're talking about favorite parts, my favorite part was when Cam decided he wanted to pour the entire bottle of triple sec into the Long Island. And then Rick is like, no, I'm a bartender this thing. And Cam is like, my carpet. It was just so many hilarious moments. So yeah, if you have not seen it, please go check that out.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do church announcements, Mr. Weekend Herb.
So starting off, it's con season, guys. So let's knock these cons out the way. We got HBCU coming April 29th to May 1st at Bowie State University. Tickets start off $15. Go to hbccon.org for more details. Awesome Con, June 3rd to the 5th at Washington Convention Center. Tickets start at $85 for the whole weekend. Go to awesome-con.com for more details. Blerd Con, the mecca of it all, July 8th through the 10th at the Hyatt Regency in Crystal City. Tickets start at $65 for the whole weekend pass. Blerdcon.com for more details. And as we just said prior, HNIC Con, that'll be taking place Juneteenth weekend, ladies and gentlemen. That's June 17th through the 19th. It's going to be at, the address is 1388 Street Road in Warminster, Pennsylvania. So go and get your hotels, guys. Come and party with us on that weekend. So we're going to have a damn good time. Yeah. In Amazon news, The Boys season 3 trailer just dropped. That shit can't fucking wait. It's coming out on June the 3rd, so I can't wait. What do you guys think?
Of course, I'm excited for it. I love the Boys comic. Of course, they are taking extreme liberties with this. But if you watch the previous 2 seasons, you should have a good idea of where this is going. You should know where the climax is going to be on this. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I still got to finish The Boys Diabolical. I think I got to episode 7 on that before I stopped. But anyway,
is my man gonna get out of jail? Is he gonna get out of jail in time for the premiere? I just want to know.
Anthony Starr? Yeah. Probably not.
Is he still in there, or he's
still in?
He got like 60 days or something.
It was 120. Yeah, they gave him 120. So I don't believe he might just be getting out by then, depending on when he went.
Episode 2. Okay, bad.
Right.
No promotional tour for that guy.
Tony over the cell block. Hey, when y'all get out, watch my show.
Nah, I heard they got Cable in jail, so he might, have a jail watch party for all we know.
I was about to say he's in jail. He's in jail in Europe, so I'm pretty sure he's living a good life. What are you saying, Trey?
Sorry to interrupt, but to answer comic books on YouTube, the actor who plays Homelander from The Boys was arrested for assaulting a waiter in what country was he in?
Spain.
So yeah. So
it's Spain.
That's who we were talking about. You said it's Spain.
You have to say Spain. Because the whole country talks to their lips like this.
Stop it.
It's España.
You know what?
The truth.
He ain't lying.
You go to España to
what is it we said before? The views of Rick Stroh and Herb are not the views of the rest of us here in Blerds and Whiskey. Those are their own individual thoughts.
I promise y'all, I'm not saying anything offensive to anybody from Spain. This is a known fact. Everybody in Spain speaks with a list because in their history, the king had a list, and rather than correct him, the whole country just started speaking with that list. And now it's been passed down from person to person. Like, this is a real thing.
I mean, Shannon Tatum did have that same accent.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff. My name's Jeff.
Now you got me doing it. Stop. Keep going. Move on.
All right. So
somebody will find it problematic.
Daredevil season 4 is in the works. And the reason why, because all of the Marvel movies all the Marvel shows that were on Netflix have traveled onto Disney Plus. Can't wait for that. Shit, it's hella violent. I love that shit.
I got an audible question for you before we move on from that topic. Has anybody gone back and rewatched any of the Netflix series from Marvel?
I could tell you nobody on this panel had looked at what's the name? Your boy
Iron Fist.
Johnny Iron Fist. Nobody.
I didn't count that shit.
I've gone back and rewatched Daredevil. I've gone back and rewatched Punisher. And I've gone back and rewatched the first half of Luke Cage season 1 and 3 episodes of Luke Cage season 2.
Okay. Roughly the same, dude. Like I've watched Punisher at least a couple of times, and I've watched the Daredevil seasons a bunch of times. I skipped Defenders, I skipped Iron Fist, and mostly the first half up until right until Cottonmouth. That was Cottonmouth. Yeah, right until Cottonmouth died in season 1. and the first few episodes with Bushmaster after Luke Cage got his ass kicked by Bushmaster. After that, I'm done with the show.
Okay. So what y'all saying is y'all have time and I need to do better. Got it. Noted. Got it.
Okay.
And I will say this. I will say this real quick, Trey. I'm sorry. I just want to interject.
Mm-hmm.
There is one part of Defenders to go back and watch where Daredevil beats the shit out of Iron Fist. That's always a great watch because I cannot stand Finn Jones's live action interpretation of Danny Rand. He's a whiny little bitch. I don't care what justification people try to put on season 2. He is a whiny little bitch for the whole series.
Season 2, he did try to redeem that character to be more like Iron Fist, but I'm going to be really, really honest. Only time I watch any type of Iron Fist is to watch Colleen Wing. Because,
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
Moving forward, the DCEU has pushed back several movies, which is Black Adam, The Flash, and Aquaman 2.
Oh, no, not
And
Black Adam.
They're saying the reason why they pushed back is because induced production delays. I call cap. So,
no one cares. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. YouTube. Go and check my show out, Herb's Blerds, every week. Also, as we said earlier, go and watch Thirsty Thursdays on Blerds and Whiskey. Like, share, subscribe. And that concludes the church announcement.
All right, I guess that's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's get into some of this toddy tea. First thing that I want to lead off with is that I now have 83 followers. Look at me.
Yes.
You know, God is just coming through. You know, I'm just about to go viral at any moment. I'm fucking with you. I don't care. But let's move on to the topic at hand. And that is Miss Kim Kardashian. She has been blowing up all of social media on all platforms with her comment, and I quote, "I have the best advice for women in business. Get off your fucking ass and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days." Now, I know she was talking to women because it's like Women's History Month and shit, but bitch, and I said that, you are talking about somebody who had $100 million trust fund that was set up for the 4 Kardashian children. And when I mean the 4 Kardashian children, I mean Khloe, whose daddy is really OJ. I mean Courtney, I mean Rob, and I mean Kim. So when your father passed away, you inherited $25 million. We're also talking about another person for her 16th birthday was gifted a BMW. And she's like, everybody has 24 hours in a day. Blah, 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 blah. My 24 hours and your 24 hours are not the same, sis. Not the same. Because you're talking about the national minimum wage being $7.25. And you want to complain and bitch and moan. In this interview, if you had a chance to watch the full interview, please watch the full interview because she complained in this video about her crashing her car and her father saying he is not going to pay to get her a new one. So she had to get a job because she didn't have any money to get her car fixed. And you're also talking about all my friends had credit cards and I didn't have one. And so when I used my dad's credit card, he would make me sign a document saying that I would pay him back. It's the level of entitlement, sis, that you're giving off that you don't even realize that the best thing for you to do is shut the fuck up. And then her bitch ass sister, Courtney, had the audacity to agree and be like, yes, no one wants to work. Bitch, you are famous for not, your own sister said you didn't want to work. So please shut up and exit stage left. But that's just me. I'm going to shut up. Somebody else go ahead and talk because I am triggered.
It's Women's History Month. Touch that shit. I ain't touching that shit.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It's like it just didn't sit right with me, mainly because like a lot of celebrities, especially people who are rich, whenever they say something like, you know, like you got to work hard, like Diddy talking about like I stay hungry. If everything I've achieved and I'm still hungry, you should have no excuse to not eat either because you're hungry and I'm hungrier than you. So why am I hungrier than you? I'm like, what are you talking about, Diddy? You killed your best friend and made record deals out of it. I'm sorry.
Man,
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Say that.
Allegedly.
God.
Allegedly.
Well, listen,
Hey.
it's the I'm sorry.
Go.
It's the pull yourself up by your bootstraps energy for me. It's crazy how people who start out with all of these advantages and who like, I don't know, when I was just excited when I was getting, when you were getting promoted from elementary school or from middle school or whatever, I was just excited to get $50 in a car from somebody. Meanwhile, these Bamas that's got millions of dollars to start out with have the nerve to scream down from their high castle at those who are putting the bricks in the base or replacing the bricks in the base of their statue. I mean, in the base of wherever they're staying at. It's frustrating as shit. Her comments were more triggering to me than her goddamn sister's Pepsi commercial where they ended racism. It's the delusions. It's the absolute gall of her and people of her ilk to look down their nose at people who are genuinely struggling, who are trying their damnedest. It's hard as shit to dig your way out of the hole that most of us are born into. And when you aren't even born in a hole, you're actually born on a moving conveyor belt, and you have all of these. You're basically on Easy Street. Who the fuck are you to tell anybody about what they are trying to do or how they can get it or how they can make it? If anything,
especially when you got a $25 million head start, says, and Ray J's dick in your mouth, but that's just me.
He ain't lying. That part right there.
I'm trying to tell you. Like, if anything, how about you do this? Here's a word to all you famous people that feel like you're motivational speakers when actually you're just dummies. How about you shut the fuck up and do what Colin Kaepernick does? Put your money where your stupid ass mouth is and actually back some programs to actually help people. Actually try and grow these communities that you so conveniently forgotten about once you got out of. Why don't you do some of that shit? Why don't you actually be a philanthropist and actually help some kids who are disadvantaged or help communities that are full of drug infestation and crime and over-policing? Why don't you do some of that shit instead of running your mouth on the internet?
Conversate with the fate, that part.
I mean, you've said it. Like,
hey.
triggering.
All I can say is dip, though.
Yeah.
All right.
All I'm saying is, Chris needs an award for being the biggest pimp in the world because you was willing to sell your daughter's pussy for money. So I'm just saying. Shout out to Chris because she's the real MVP.
You're doing fine, honey. I'll never forget that gift. She was holding the camera in Ray J's room. Anyway, checking the comments over on YouTube. Comic books, what? Damn. Just Side Circus. Tell Jesse to give him a what's up when he gets in his 150 days. Talk about Homelander. Just Side Circus. Again, Rick's right. It's one of the first things my Spanish teacher taught us about the language and its difference between countries. Fair enough. I'm trying not to get canceled. Rick must have been mad when he cleaned Loose Clock, talking about Luke Cage, Jamaica F, that part. I mean, if we talking about history and Kim Kardashian, we can bring that money she made on her back, her front, her knees. There was a lot of positions. Comic books, word. Mr. Petty, that part, word. Yes, I think we're all in agreement. Yeah. Lucia 10, people in LA area are truly delusional. Gas is $5.56 a gallon, and none of them have even flinched. Sorry. All of that. Kristen Haggins and Jamaica F. That part made a whole deal with the FBI so they could sell the video. It's crazy. Like, but we all know how privileged people act and how they carry themselves. They don't give a fuck. She did that, so she probably has some new makeup line coming out or something like this, some type of advertisement coming out, and she wants to put herself in there and just advertise. That's all the fuck they do. They sell themselves. So I'm not surprised.
Okay, true shit. Let's move on. First topic.
All right.
Yeah, more triggering news to go on.
For those of you who don't know, first topic that we're going to talk about is the Ryan Coogler situation. This actually is something that happened back in January, but the body cam footage was dropped recently this week, and it displays the famous director of Black Panther, Fruitvale Station, and a plethora of other different movies trying to make a withdrawal from the bank. He's trying to make a withdrawal. He wrote out on his deposit slip. He presented his ID. He had on a mask. He was not wearing a suit and tie. He was not fresh fit, basically like we are today. And somebody made an assumption call on him based on his appearance. I'm gonna be honest. I did not want to talk about it because it's going. You know how I get. I get emotional. You get frustrated. I'm tired of seeing the same shit, and I really hate it when it comes from our own people. But panel and people in the comments, tell us how you feel about the situation. Let's go around the horn.
Okay. I have an issue with the fact that sis, because it was a Black woman who made the call. First off, he gave you a note on a deposit slip. On a withdrawal sheet. They have on the back of these withdrawal sheets, because I have Bank of America, comments. He wrote a comment on it. He's been doing that so long. He also gave you his ID. He gave you the bank card. You should be able to look and see all that information right there. If anything, sis, do your fucking job. And I mean, it's one thing if you came in, didn't have the ID, didn't have the card. I mean, come on, yeah, then calling him. But he had the fucking card. What else do you need to do? Oh, I'm really troubled behind. I don't know what to think. Bitch, just look at the goddamn thing. That's it. Just look. Do your fucking job. Just
one of the notes said on there, please be discreet. That's all. Didn't say, put the money in the bag, shut the fuck up. Like, no, he didn't come in with guns blazing.
He wasn't threatening.
Nope.
There was no aggression whatsoever.
It said Maya.
He showed his. I'm sorry. I personally have never robbed a bank before, so I can't speak for bank robbers. But I can.
Actually, I can, because I used to work for a bank and I was robbed, and I'll tell you how that experience went. But we will keep going for the sake of the show.
I heard that story. Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, I can't speak from experience about this, but all I can say is I have never heard of a bank robber. Here's my ID. I here to rob you. I'll be back. That's I mean, that's like doing half the detective work right there for like, look, this ain't the 1930s where like, people used to dress up like we do, like how we all right now. With a Tommy gun, and they write their names on bullets in the bullet holes in their wall. It was a Blerds and Whiskey gang, we write bullets in the wall. No, I just don't get like where the threatening part comes from, other than the fact that he had a hoodie on. He made Fruitvale Station. He almost had a real life event that happened from Fruitvale Station, which was also based on a real event. But it's just such a frustrating incident. And in the body cam footage, I'm glad that he remained. He was nervous, but he also remained calm. So it's sad that we're almost trained to be more at calm or at peace or try to remain calm more than the actual people who are like trying to de-escalate the situation. It's our job to de-escalate the situation, and we're so used to doing stuff like that we do that like almost automatically. Like, yes sir, no officer. Like I'm gonna shut up. Someone else can take over now.
But it's somebody else go because I already went. Go ahead.
Okay, so since we going in order. The 911 fucking dispatcher said, so he gave you his ID? And she was like, yes, but, when I keep asking him questions, he's like, just look at the note. Bitch, because he wrote it down. That's why he's telling you to look at the note. He gave you his debit card. He put his PIN number in. He gave you his ID. If you're slow, sis, just say that. That's how I feel. Because that's what this situation was. You didn't have enough common sense to put 2 and 2 together. That's really what the fuck happened. And then your dumbass manager is just as fucking dumb as you are. because she was like, we'll call the police. Bitch, you ain't even come over and say, let me talk to him. Let me figure out like what's going on. You didn't even try to get a handle on the situation before you just told her to just call the police. If she's coming to you, to your office manager, okay, to your fucking office with the ID in hand, what fucking robber ever identifies themselves? Again, if you slow, sis, just say that, because that's exactly what this was. And she's like, oh, I'm rattled. But the 911 dispatcher was the MVP, because she was like, oh, so nothing has been confirmed? Well, it's the police is on the way, but like she was literally trying to tell sis, this is dumb, but I'm gonna still do my job because I have to do my job.
Real quick before you go, Rick Straw, I just want to get to the comments on YouTube. We've got, of course, more Rita at Doc. He do look.
No, you got to read Doc. You have to read the other comment prior to that.
Oh.
Dr. Teaching it.
I'm sorry.
Chanel was saying, where she go? And Pastor Rick, the doors of the church are now open. They're basically trying to say you got your they say you got your Easter outfit on, basically what they're trying to say.
They're talking about I was preaching that last segment.
Good shit. You were. And Jamaica F. Come on.
Facts. Talk about some facts. And then Genocide Circus is saying apparently it was her first day and probably her last. No, ain't no first day. Nah.
That's bullshit. That's not bullshit.
They try to spin something to make you get sympathy for her, because that also would I'm not. I don't care if it's your first day or not. I've had many first days, and I've never once thought, man, this person's trying to rob me, even though he presented ID, bank card, PIN number, like the usual stuff when you try to withdraw money. And a side note, it was in Atlanta. The reason why he wanted to be discreet because he's taking out 12 G's, but he doesn't want to have the money machine going on for like an hour, for that many times, counting that money. So he's like, hey, I'm taking out 12 G's, but can you keep it, on the low? Can you be discreet about it? Because I'm not trying to advertise that I got 12 G's and all I got is a hoodie and no backup.
Facts.
So Rita kind of touched on a point that I was going to make in this whole thing, and the manager should be brought up, should be on suspension or something for failure to do their job, because in any circumstance, when someone is withdrawing a large amount of money from any bank, that is a transaction that needs to be done in a separate area, in a more private area. The fact that Ryan handed a note after he'd given his ID, his bank card, his PIN number, all of that. Again, the manager needs to get up and come over and deal with this situation. This should have never even been in this teller's hands from the get-go. So that there's a vast negligence on the manager's behalf. The police officers, I hate to make this blanket statement, but I'm going to because I'm me. The cowardice amongst police officers is just an incredible thing to me. Because if you look at the body cam footage, the officer walks up behind Ryan when he's looking at the teller with his gun drawn. They know already through the dispatcher that he's unarmed because the lady said, I didn't see a gun on him. And you have the jump on him, and rather than take him down, there's a way to detain a person without using a firearm or without using deadly force, even if you think they have a weapon, because that officer literally got within distance to touch him, right? If I get in distance to touch you, I can take you down. I promise you, right? I've had training for it in my job. We have to do it every 2 years, so I know the police have to do it. I'm taught to take down someone who is having a mental situation or some type of situation in a physical but yet non-lethal way. So the fact that this officer is literally right behind him with his gun drawn is very, very problematic and troublesome to me. I watched the video, and even though Ryan is wearing a mask, he's got a knit hat on, he's got a hoodie on, he's got a mask on. Every black man, every black person, knows the look that they saw in his eyes. We all know that fear. We all know that PTSD when a police officer addresses you, right? Because I know even with me, if a police officer is on the side of me and I'm driving down the highway, the anxiety kicks up. It kicks up. So the fact that he had two officers around him, one of them with a gun drawn, like I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lawsuit that comes from this, because there needs to be, because this is reckless. This is troublesome. This is just, it's frustrating all the way around. And even someone as prestigious as Ryan Coogler, who, like we said, he's director of Fruitvale Station. He directed the first Creed movie. He's directed one of the biggest superhero movies of all time, a billion-dollar franchise, a literal billion-dollar franchise, almost lost his life because of the recklessness, because of the lack of empathy, because of the lack of trying to understand and look at the broader scope of the situation of two people and two officers. Because quite frankly, I'm going to refer to officers as officers because they've lost. I'm just going to make another blanket statement, and this is through their actions. Most officers have lost their humanity because of the way that they look at other human beings. You've lost it. You don't see people anymore. You see threats constantly. And that's a very, very troubling part, especially when it comes to people who look like us. So when it comes to Black people, when it comes to minorities, you don't see people anymore. You see threats. And that is the problem with the whole system. That is why the system needs to be torn down. That's why when things are said like defund the police, we don't mean get rid of the police. We mean retrain the police. Because this militaristic style that we've got to, we are losing lives by the thousands every year.
I kind of want to chime in here, and that's only because I worked in the Bank of America to be exact, and we were robbed before. And so police officers take any threat, any idle threat, because it's a felony crime to rob a bank. So they will always come with their guns drawn. That is what they're supposed to do. Because just because you don't see a weapon does not mean a weapon is not there. And I think that because it's a bank, it's a heightened responsibility. And so that's the only reason why I'm even speaking on it, is because, like I said, I worked in the bank. I've been robbed before, and I understand that protocol and that procedure. I'm not taking away from his experience because it's still traumatizing as fuck. But I'm just trying to give it a further explanation as to why the officers reacted the way that they did, because they thought they were under the impression that they were in the middle of an active robbery.
Hold up, let me go. So, and I agree with you. There are protocols, there are steps that you take, but in those steps that you take, no matter what field you're in, no matter what job you have, everybody has something called situational awareness. If a human being is standing still, hands at their sides, empty hands, no object, he had nothing in his hands.
Agreed.
Like Rick said, if you have your humanity intact, you see another human being standing there.
And
nothing
I agree
in his
with
hand,
that. But what I'm telling you is
motions.
Someone who has been robbed before, the suspect wasn't even there. They still came in with their guns drawn just in case one of the witnesses that was in the bank at the time might have been an accomplice. It is their protocol. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it doesn't cause trauma.
I'm not fighting with you.
I'm just explaining that aspect because I've been on the opposite side of that.
And I get that. I just want to make sure I'm not arguing with you about it. I'm just saying I personally think, like what Rick was saying, as far as not defunding, but retraining, that portion of their protocol needs to be reevaluated. There should be a observe and report and then action type situation. That's what I'm saying. Oh, off-camera guy wants to say something. Go ahead.
All right, if you watch the video, you realize they rolled up on him and said, "Sir, could you come over here real quick?" And immediately he was like, "What's going on here?" And he adjusted his behavior. The officer behind him drew his weapon. And that's when he looked at him. He's like, he immediately complied. The officer put his firearm back in his holster and realized he's watched the video. He switched hands. He went to pull out his taser. He was like, so he pulled it out on him. He was like, shit, this isn't necessary. Put it back. Pulls out his taser. And then then you still see everything go down the way it went down. In case anybody missed that detail.
It's still, even at the end of the day, it's still just, dude, the lady this shit should have never happened. Miss, do your fucking job. Look, who fucking comes into a bank robbing it with an ID and a bank card? That's all.
All you had to do was look at his account balance, to be honest, because he's asking you specifically for $12,000. If he gave you his debit card, he put his PIN number in, he gave you his identification, all you had to do was look at his account at that point in time, read the name on his ID, read the name on the account, look at the account balance, because it shows you.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have been like, okay, he wants $12,000 of his own fucking money.
And I mean, I'm even gonna go as far as this. Whenever you look at what's the name, when they put the card in, it says all your information, even as far as where your address is. It says it on his ID where he lives. What
it says it on your bank account too.
Well,
it says it on your bank account too.
Well, maybe if Ryan would have taken his mask down and she would have saw his goatee and how it was completely shaped up and looking fabulous, she wouldn't have been so rushed to call the authorities or make it such a big situation. And if you want to get your beard and mustache all nice and shapely and looking beautiful and illustrious, then you should go on to blerdsandwhiskey.com and go to our partners tab and go to the Beard Struggle. The Beard Struggle has everything that you need to get your beard nice and full and flowing and smelling great. And, they have all of your Norse-themed scents flavors and all of that stuff. They have hot combs, whatever. I don't care.
Flavors?
Scent flavors. Cool. It works. Okay. It just works. And you can use the promo code BLERDS1 to get 15% off your purchases at the Beard Struggle. That's BLERDS1 to get 15% off your purchases from the Beard Struggle.
I love it. Okay, so thank you. Let's go ahead and transition to the next thing. Speaking of possible robbers, sorry to take your thunder, Cam. I just saw the opportunity. I wanted to jump into it.
I wasn't even thinking about that. But I will say this though about we're about to watch now. So let's go ahead and run our character of the week segment. Hey y'all, this is my 100th character of the week. So let's go ahead and roll that footage. Character of the week. So first and foremost, it's my 100th episode on Blerds and Whiskey doing character of the week. So let's clap it up for that. Second of all, it's Women's History Month. So who better to kick this off with than I would say the first lady of DC Comics, Selina Kyle, better known as the Catwoman, or Catwoman, no one says the, it varies. Created in the 1940s, Selina Kyle is probably one of the longest running Batman characters along with the Joker. At least Selina Kyle is definitely the longest running, but she didn't become the Catwoman until later on, a few issues later. And even then, she wasn't really the Catwoman, she was just called the Cat. And her original costume leaves a lot to be desired. Yo, what the is that? What is that? I can imagine that wasn't really appealing, which is funny because the original creators of Catwoman modeled her after the Hollywood starlets of the time, the femme fatale, somewhat like a foil to Batman. The original creator was credited for saying he compared women to cats, being standoffish and alluring, and you know what? It was the 40s and it was an old white guy. Enough said. She's been through a lot of costume changes throughout the years. After that horrific cat mask, she then started wearing this cat ears dress cape type outfit. Then she became the Catwoman. Like in the 60s, she started donning the black costume played by Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt. You know what? It doesn't even matter who else after that. It's Eartha Kitt, and that's just 100% Catwoman right there. I know she was making white America feel so uncomfortable, and I love it. I love Eartha Kitt. Anyway, so between 1954 and 1970 something, she took a hiatus due to the comic codes of authority and one of their weird rules. I'm going to assume it's probably something to do with that costume and her being a woman, and naturally that leads to her origin story. Her story in general is probably retconned so many times. One, because DC can never keep a story straight. Two, they got too many like Elseworlds, Outworlds, multiverses, and stuff like that. So it was later cleaned up, but her origin story begins as a young woman under two abusive parents. Mom committed suicide. Dad blamed her. He pretty much drank himself to death, leaving Selena Kyle to pretty much befriend nobody but cats and then live on the streets. To survive, she started stealing. That combined with her natural gymnastics ability, thief skills, bad origin story, kid from the streets, eventually becomes a cat burglar. So eventually she made her way up into the high class society where she meets people like Bruce Wayne and steals from like those rich people and stuff like that. She's always been toyed the line between good and evil. Like she started just robbing only bad people, but then that turned to just robbing people. Batman would always try to convince her to do right. So occasionally she's like a foe, so occasionally she's their friend. Always a love interest, always conflicting with Batman. I guess you could say Batman has a thing for her. She didn't get like a solo series till like the 90s, thanks to artists like Jim Ballant. I have to thank Jim Ballant for creating such iconic figures for Catwoman. Throughout several publications of Catwoman, as I mentioned before, she was in the 1960s Batman TV show with like 3 different people playing her. She's been featured in the Batman the Animated Series. She's been featured in the Harley Quinn show. She was featured in variations of every Batman story between Brave and the Bold, The Batman. She's been in several movies played by Michelle Pfeiffer. We try not to remember Halle Berry's version of Catwoman. I mean, my God. She's also been played by Anne Hathaway. Recently, she's played by Zoe Kravitz, Chef's Kiss. So Catwoman will always be an alluring Gotham siren. We salute you, and I kept my cat puns down to a minimum. Back to you guys. Like, share, subscribe.
Hey, Eartha Kitt. Oh my God.
I love the fact that I had to think about. Oh wow, don't break.
And honestly, I never thought
callback.
I was going to have to hear that comment ever again. And now here we are.
If you're one of our
watching that fucking movie.
If you're one of our new followers, go back and find that episode. It's on the YouTube. It's on the Blerds and Whiskey YouTube. Yes, I went off on a tangent about cat anus. It has a point. It all goes into something. It goes into the topic of what we're talking about.
And he just screams it with so much conviction and he shakes his fist at the heavens.
Yo, y'all don't understand. They literally hired a visual company to remove and put in the cat anuses from this goddamn movie.
Mr. Petty, what episode was that?
It's one of our music. It's the second musical episode we had with one of our earlier guests, Overtime Sims.
Yeah.
Overtime Sims. So just go look for Overtime. That's the one he took his damn shirt off.
His same episode that he stripped down. And
that's right.
And I'm still traumatized because there was a lot going on in the episode.
I was not there that week, and I had to come back and be like, dude, don't do that shit on my fucking show no more. What is the matter with you?
So shout out to me. Check out #Camism. That's going to be uploaded sometime tomorrow morning. Usually Monday around like 9 or 10. I upload that. Like, share, and subscribe. So speaking of Batman and his lore, didn't Disney Plus drop another trailer for Moon Knight?
Yes, they did.
Or they dropped like a teaser or something.
It was like I think it was like a featurette.
Yeah. Disney Plus is putting a lot of work into.
Hey, Horace.
I was gonna say, excuse me 1 second. I have to derail for a second.
Read them both.
I'm gonna read. So Horace on Genocide Circus on YouTube says Canis. Then he says, "Go watch the cat in this episode. It all comes out the same in the end." I'm going to kill you. I'm going to physically put my hand around your throat and squeeze until the light leaves your eyes. I'm going to.
Oh my God.
So Moon Knight. So speaking of full moons, Moon Knight.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Cam. Thank you.
One of the things Moon Knight is coming out soon on Disney Plus. I think they're putting in a lot of work. I'm gonna give a shout out to the actor, and he's played Apocalypse. He's
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac has been Star Wars, Marvel. Like he's been trying this. He's been trying his hardest to like. I don't know. Maybe he's secretly a nerd and we just don't know it yet. That's how much dedication he has to it.
He actually is. He actually is a nerd, and he said his dream role was to be able to play Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie. So that could possibly be something that he does in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So he's playing Moon Knight, and I'm all for it. I think Moon Knight
Blade is going to show up. Damn, I didn't mean to say that. My Tourette's kicked in. But that's just me. Whew.
So she has a theory. She has a theory, and we all know how much we love her theories. They're going to see that Blade's going to show up in Moon Knight. So what do y'all think? I'm all for it. What do y'all think?
As far as the Moon Knight or Blade showing?
All of the above. We got time. Well, let's go for it.
I mean, I don't know if necessarily Blade's going to show up. It's a possibility. It could happen. Yes, I would like that to be Mahershala Ali's first appearance. I would love that to happen in the series because it's gonna open up the ground level heroes lore as far as the MCU and their Disney Plus properties. And of course, now that we have the reboot of continuation of Daredevil. I'm pretty sure they might recast the different roles. I hope they bring back Jessica Jones. I hope they resurrect Purple Man. But all of those coming in and playing on this smaller landscape, I hope they all get reintroduced and re-rolled in. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to see it. I can't wait to watch it. But I don't know how far the envelope Disney's willing to push with it when it comes to Moon Knight. I hope they push it. But we know, if you've been reading, it's some fucked up shit when it comes to Moon Knight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead, Big Herb.
Personally, I'm just looking at what Rick said as far as it's going to be very, very, very violent. And I'm looking forward to that. Me personally, I purposely just don't want to read it because we always go in looking at these movies or shows and we always get like, hey, this might gonna happen. This might happen. This might happen.
That's half the fucking fun.
No. I understand, but I want to go in with a blind eye on this.
You usually do.
No.
So we spent all these years reading fucking comic books for no reason. Is what you're saying?
I'm just saying on this time, just on this one, I want to go in and see it with a blind eye, seeing okay. And then on top of that, I would actually.
So you blind as fuck because you don't know shit about Moon Knight. I already know this.
I want to go in just with a blind on, just on this one. And then on top of that, I mean, if Blade never shows up, I want to do the same thing that Cam's been doing with Rick with what's his name? With
Mephisto. Yep. Go ahead and copy me.
You're gonna awkwardly scream out Blade randomly at Rita whenever she mentions something.
You never know. I've been doing this for 3 years.
So I feel like Blade is going to take the place of Doctor Strange, and that's why I made that comment where like Doctor Strange recruited all of these people. I think they're going to have Blade be the person doing the recruiting. And I feel like that's going to be the separate take on it. So I feel like he might show up in the end credit scenes from Mephisto. And I also feel like he might show up in a screen, somewhere. And Moon Knight, because he is on this recruiting spree, because the Darkhold plays a major part. It's like the Darkhold, in my opinion, as far as the MCU right now is concerned, it's like a character of its own. And I feel like the Darkhold is an amazing segue into so many different story arcs. And how can you not include, like I said before, the Midnight Suns in that story arc?
So
but that's just me.
No. I didn't think about that because I know you kind of been into the Midnight Suns recently, so you kind of like are thinking more on that level than most of us are. So would you put like Blade is kind of going to be like their Nick Fury, like he's going to be showing up at random, the mystic side of MCU coming in like, Well, no, some motherfuckers always want to ice skate up there. well.
So I feel like Doctor Strange is still going to, be a leader in that group because he was originally in the source material, the reason why they got together. But I feel like they're taking that from Doctor Strange and giving it to Blade. And I'm not even saying he's going to physically appear on screen. It might be another situation where it's like a letter, where it's a note, where, fucking email. It could be anything. But I feel like Blade is going to show up in some shape, way, or form. And both
Signed Blade.
Both the Morbius and the Moon Knight. So, and maybe even Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Because we don't know what Wanda ass is going to do with that dark hole. We don't know what the repercussions of that is going to be.
So,
but that's just my opinion.
I am stuck on Blade and email address. Like, what the hell is Blade?
Per my last motherfucking email.
Blade and Whistler at gmail.com. That's what it is.
Daywalker 318.
And Hotmail.
At AOL.com talking about
about to say Blade's got Kickstarter. Seen him March
I'm
times.
just saying, he could. And he could. But I just feel like this is like Moon Knight. Yes, I know I kind of went off on a tangent where I wasn't really talking about Moon Knight and his split personalities and all of that. But to me, I just feel like, okay, so I want to say this right now. My first love has always been Blade, because you're talking about a black fucking vampire who's a day walker and who just kicks ass. And the first Marvel movie, shout out to Wesley Snipes, was Blade. And so I feel like now we're trying to come, full circle. And I feel like now that we are introducing the Marshawn Lynch, that's his name, right? That's not his fucking name. Mahershala Ali. I definitely fucked that up.
Yeah, you heard definitely went beast mode. You heard the shit out that name.
Okay, but I caught it though. I caught my own fuck up, just so we know. But anyway, I don't know. I just feel like we are laying a foundation for the horror aspect of the MCU, and I can't wait to see it. And I just want y'all to, give me all the props when it finally does take place. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. Do you think that if Blade does come in this,
did you say crowbar?
I said quick one, man. Just quick question. Do you think that if they have this whole entire multiverse thing going on, are we gonna get Wesley Snipes as Blade to come in?
He might be a part of the original Illuminati, but that's just me.
If anything, if they introduce Wesley Snipes to the MCU, he needs to be Whistler. It's that simple. It's writes itself.
I could see that
he
too.
needs to be.
I could see that.
Whistler. So I have an audible question where it's just us when you want to wedge a question into something like that.
Go on, man. Shit.
The last thing on the list of things we're supposed to talk about. We recently had The Batman drop. We recently had it. And I think it's an amazing movie. I did my own little quick spoiler-free review on my TikTok. Cheap plug. But I got to ask the question, who do you think would win in a fight between the Batman and the Moon Knight? And let's go around the horn.
How much prep time?
Who would win in a fight? Who would win? God damn it, Cam. Who would win in the motherfucking fight between the Batman and the Moon Knight?
Batman.
Okay.
Let's go around the horn.
Okay.
Do you want to go last, Trey? Is that what I'm going to say?
Yeah, I'm going. Of course I'm going last. Duh. I already answered the question.
I Herb.
Batman is rich. You have superpowers.
They're both rich. They both don't have superpowers. Next thing.
Remember, he has a blind eye. See,
I was about to say, why are we asking her? Herb don't.
He has a blind eye seeing this. So yeah, I just want to hear his opinion, like just based off of like off-air comments that we've made.
Okay, moving on. As far as I mean, what's the name? Batman doesn't have superpowers. He's just rich. That's it. What? Because he can fight? That's it. He doesn't have a superpower.
So what's Moon Knight's superpower?
And he transforming into this fucking thing going around.
You mean putting on his white suit?
Ain't he transforming, motherfucker?
No, Herb. They might in the MCU. So I'm okay. Let me be more specific before I nerdly attack you.
Go ahead.
Comic book Batman versus comic book Moon Knight. They've both had powers in their own respective issues of comics, yes, but consistently they've been rich, white, and capable of fighting. One is a little bit more unstable.
Batman's losing. Move on.
Okay, all right. Rita.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I thought Cam was going next. My bad. I thought we was going in order.
Oh, didn't Cam already answer?
Okay. No, I didn't.
I'm sorry.
I just stormed off when Herb mentioned that Moon Knight. What do you think he's a werewolf? Like
he transforms into the moon.
Not he transforms into. You know
what? Okay. My opinion. Let's speed this up. I believe that Moon Knight would be the victor simply because of one of his personas. Is a psychotic person that feels no pain. So once he goes into that mode, no matter what Batman is doing to him, he's going to out struggle Batman. It's going to happen. So I put Moon Knight for that reason. Same reason why the Taskmaster has trouble fighting Moon Knight. His if he's impervious to pain at some point, he's just going to keep. He can't fight someone who can't be hurt. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Cam. You took the words right out of my mouth, and also fuck Batman. So there's that. Y'all know how I feel.
All right, so so I'm the only one. All right, Rick Stroh, what you got?
I mean, it all depends on who's writing this story, to be quite honest with you. Because depending on if it's one of those people that writes for Batman constantly, they're going to find some way for Batman to defeat somebody that he has no business fighting. Because so just to kind of help out a little bit, Moon Knight is possessed by the Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu, which actually gives him actual superpowers. And Batman is possessed by
trauma,
Wall Street. God. So, not even that, because I'm pretty sure God looks at Batman and goes, "Bruce, you got to get some help. Like this shit is out of hand. You got to go talk to somebody about this."
He's always like, "Bruce, that was 20 years ago."
Right? Like you got to let this shit
go. Hurts, like, it still fucking hurts.
This is out of hand. But also, in addition to that, Moon Knight does suffer from multiple personality disorders. So he has, the fact that there's actual powers, there's a power set there, and there's the same capabilities as Batman. Like he literally is rich. He is a trained mercenary,
martial artist.
Like, yeah, he has all the same abilities as Batman's, but then he also has those added powers. So I mean, just with that alone, Moon Knight should be the victor. But again, like I said earlier, if it's written by somebody who loves Batman, then Batman will find some type of way, like he'll do something stupid, like have the Mobius chair or have Brother Eye shoot a laser at Moon Knight.
You really think he needs all that to beat fucking Moon Knight?
What I feel like he needs is FNX Fit. Somebody go ahead and parlay that. That's what he needs. Both of their superpowers is FNX Fit. There you go.
Well, yeah, exactly. See, and again, if Rita was writing it, then Batman would log on to blerdsandwhiskey.com and he would go to our partners page and click on the tab for FNX Fit to give him that extra boost when he's fighting people that he has no business fighting. Like when he beat the Predator by hitting him with a baseball bat. And I'm pretty sure he used the promo code FNX Blerds13 to get 15% off his purchase for his added creatine or his pre-workout that he needed to go and do something stupid, or just, also Batman can use it to get something to help with his mental health, because he really, really needs to talk to somebody. Because like was shown in the recent Batman movie, that shit is getting out of hand, Bruce, and you really got to go and talk to someone. But yeah, FNX Fit to get all of your fitness needs so that you can be your best Batman self.
All right, so the score so far is 4-1. Unless off camera guy wanted to Spawn, but he commented Spawn beats his ass. Never mind, forget I said anything about it. I totally disagree with you guys, but I will stand alone. It is what it is. There's no way, as far as fighting prowess, there's no way, in my opinion, that he's going to beat him. He knows more martial arts. He's got more experience. He's been doing it for longer. He's got better gadgets. He's better trained. But I agree to disagree. Let's wrap this shit up. Final thoughts on the show, I guess.
We talked about Bruce Wayne needing mental health. Didn't he try to fuck her on the second one on Batman Forever?
What?
Wait, what?
Who was her?
How did we get here?
How did we
get here?
Up to
Hold on, let him wait. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Just listen. On Batman Forever. Didn't know was it Batman Forever, the one with
Val Kilmer.
Kilmer. He was actually going in for therapy, and he ended up trying to fuck his therapist.
This is the clip of the week. I just want.
So in actuality, so I just so we can put a bow on this. Actually, his therapist was hot for him because that was the character that Nicole Kidman was playing, and she had a thing for the black rubber, and so she was the one that was trying. She was actually trying to fuck Batman, but also, so Herb. Sometimes when you have a thought, you got to put more reference to it because you just screamed out, "Wasn't he trying to fuck her?" And everybody's just like, "I don't know what the fuck you talking about, man."
But you know what? You can take this conversation. You can take this conversation to the Blerds and Whiskey Discord, and we can discuss it further there. There you go.
Facts. We are starting to use the Discord again. All right, Vicar, close us out, man.
All right. Like, share, subscribe on all social media platforms. As always, guys, up to it, down to it. Fuck those who don't do it. We do
fuck
it.
Your therapist.
I can't even drink this shit. I hate y'all.
Is he Mike Larry? You can't bang your therapist.
Just close it. We're out.
Just close the shit.
Drink, motherfucker. Over.
Just close it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and that technicolor rainbow in between, it's your boy Trey Proper.
It's your boy Big Herb.
And thank you for watching Blerds and Whiskey.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe on all social media platforms.
And check us out on blerdsandwhiskey.com.
Be sure to get that merch.
And come take this shot.